here, back at it again with another video. And as I always like to say, thank you guys for coming onto this video and watching. Very much so means the world to me that you guys take the time out of y'all day to come on here and watch my video. Today I'm going to be speaking while you guys kind of watch me shoot photos of Reina in her green floral dress at this Pier Space location, which was very, very, very beautiful. Pink all around, and you know, her having the fit that she have on very much so just brought out the location even more. So, but before we get into the talk of, you know, my workflow dealing with, you know, me shooting indoors, just want to talk a little bit about this shoot. As you guys can see, the primary colors dealing with the light involved pink. Well, it wasn't even pink, it was more so a purplish. The newer light I had, and the GODOX that I had it at more of a yellow, and there was some type of attachment. The GODOX can't change colors, for those of you who was, you know, just wondering. But had those two lighting setups, and I did have a assistant that was she was kind of watching me, you know, dealing with my workflow, but at the same time she did kind of help me a little bit dealing with the lighting. And yeah, her name is Genesis. Her Instagram, Reina's Instagram, will be in the description below. And you know, once again, shout out to my brother for shooting the BTS. But yeah, the location itself, very much so, you know, was beautiful, you feel me? And hopefully you guys enjoy all the photos to come throughout the video as I talk to you guys dealing with my workflow. But yeah, let's just get started. So first off on my list, I would say a shutter release. I feel like there's a lot of important stuff on the list, but a shutter release for sure is just something that I can't leave my house without, especially if I'm going, you know, to a studio and I'm actually, you know, shooting on film. A shutter release is very, very important whenever I'm shooting inside. And if I'm shooting at a shutter speed less than 60, I always want to have a shutter release. And you know, for those of you who do not know, if you are shooting less than 60 as your shutter speed, then and you're just literally just, you know, pressing the shutter, you're gonna get shaky photo. And I've actually, you know, left my shutter release once or twice before, and then I ended up just having my Mamiya RB67 on a tripod shooting the photo. And yeah, some of the photos I tried to, even if you have it on a tripod, that's the crazy thing, right? But that's something to just keep in mind. Even if you have it on a tripod, pressing the shutter button on the camera will have your camera shaking. It's very important to have a shutter release, especially if you're shooting less than 60 as your shutter speed. So yes, shutter release. Make sure you own one, especially if you are going to do any type of film photography indoors. Obviously, a tripod is another thing dealing with my workflow, but I feel like everyone should make sure they have a tripod in hand, in their car, somewhere. Make sure you're taking it with you. As you guys can see when I was shooting Reina, as you guys can see me shooting, dealing with, you know, any type of, all my projects dealing with me shooting inside a studio. You guys seen me, I've always had my shutter release and I've always had my tripod on deck, on hand, dealing with the whole camera setup. So make sure you have a tripod for obvious reasons, so you can have your camera stationary as you're taking the photo, dealing with the shutter release. So tripod, yes. So I do have a 2 lighting setup. Now this is, once again, this is my workflow. You know, there are some photographers who just use probably like a 1 lighting setup, or depending on like what look you're going for, maybe you just don't need 2 light setups, you need 1. But majority of the time, especially dealing with my shoots, I always do a 2 lighting setup. One of the lights I recently talked about dealing in my last video, that video I will actually put that in the description below. But yeah, the NEEWER 660, the LED light, the light that, you know, can change, you know, all these colors. Talked a lot about it, dealing with the video that I dropped the last time, but very beautiful light, very easy to use, very compact, and yeah, that's like a light I will always recommend, you feel me, especially to people who actually, you know, don't own that light specifically. But the next light I'd like to talk about dealing with my 2 lighting setup is the GODOX SL60W. So there are options for you to, you know, dim the light. So literally it's 0% to 100%. One thing that it does not do is change colors. You feel me? It does not do that on its own. There are different attachments that you need to be able to, you know, change the colors. My setup requires me to have a 2 lighting setup, and to have that as my second light, it definitely makes the look I be going for dealing with my work, it definitely does its job for me. So I felt like I should have said this in the very beginning, but a light meter. I'm not gonna lie, I do use my light meter a lot on my phone, and yeah, it is an app on my phone which I had bought for maybe like, I think like probably like $4. There are free apps, you know, that don't get it twisted, you feel me? There are free apps dealing with light meters, which you can obviously just buy, you know, in the App Store, you feel me? The light meter on my phone tells you the ISO, the shutter speed, the exact aperture you need dealing with a subject, so you know you can adjust the settings on your camera. So light meter is definitely something important, especially if you don't know about the Sunny 16 rule, and yeah, you're trying to get an accurate, very accurate reading, which is something I'm always trying to do, especially if I'm shooting at a studio. The light meter, my phone, is always by my side to make sure I get that most accurate reading, so you know my subject is not too bright and not too dark. To want to at least cop up and have at my disposal 800 film, you know, and majority of the times I'm shooting 800 PORTRA by Kodak, unless I'm experimenting and doing something else, you know, dealing with another film such as lumography or, you know, some type of cine still, unless I'm doing some type of experimental work and just trying to test the waters dealing with, you know, using a certain film stock. Not even to say it's rare, but when it comes to just shooting indoors, Kodak PORTRA 800 is my go-to film stock. But yeah, thank you guys so much for just coming on here and just tuning into this video. All the equipment that I did mention in the video will be in the description below, as well as the model and the assistant. Their Instagrams will be in the description below. But yeah, thank you guys so much once again. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, you feel me, if you did enjoy everything that I had to say throughout this video. And yeah, this is Vito, once again, signing off. I'm gonna catch you guys later.